Hi everyone, welcome to MES e-learning channel. This is Dr. Shardul Buva from Pillai College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Autonomous, New Panvel. Today we are going to discuss one crucial topic of costing, that is marginal costing. Generally, the scope of marginal costing is very much restricted to the calculations and formulas. But here we are going to have a different angle towards marginal costing. Now basically what is marginal? Marginal is a small increase. So marginal costing concept is based on one important parameter, that is segregation of all costs. We have learned cost sheet by having components of direct material, direct labor, direct expense that comprise of prime cost, then factory overheads, admin overheads, selling and distribution overheads and so forth. But here in marginal costing, all the costs are divided into only two categories, variable cost and fixed cost. So the bifurcation is very clear. All the costs will be either variable cost or it will be fixed cost. So let's redraft the cost sheet in marginal costing format. So sales minus variable cost will give you contribution minus fixed cost will give you profit. Your all costs are divided into two categories. Either it will be variable cost or it will be fixed cost. For example, let's have example of administration cost. Now administration cost consists of two things. Two examples are salary to your accountant, which is administrative cost. Second, I can say office rent can also be my administrative cost. Now these two costs in our old format cost sheet we used to categorize into only one head, that is administrative cost. But in marginal costing, the salary and office rent will be categorized into one component only, that is fixed cost. Whereas there will be some variable cost which will be categorized in this component. For example, my salesman salary. My salesman salary is completely dependent on the number of units he is going to sell. So though we are calling it as a salary, it will be considered, it can be considered as commission, or the as much as unit he will sell, it will be credited to his account. So if he sell one unit, then his commission will be credited. So as much as units he will sell, it will be categorized as variable cost. The cost which depends on number of units is called as variable cost, whereas the cost which depends on the time period is called as fixed cost. Now variable cost will remain constant per unit. So it will remain constant per unit, whereas total cost will remain constant in total. Variable cost is incurred depending on how many units you are producing manufacturing, whereas fixed cost depends on the total period for which it is consumed. It is irrespective of number of units you are producing. It has nothing to do with number of units you are producing. Let's see, for example, factory rent I am paying. Now how many units I am manufacturing doesn't matter, whereas variable cost is completely dependent on number of units that I am manufacturing. So if I am manufacturing one unit and for that one unit I need 5 kg of raw material, then as much as units I will produce, my variable cost will go on increasing. So while learning marginal costing, first important principle that should be in your mind is always about classification of costs. So classification of cost mein you have to classify your cost into two categories. First is variable cost and second is fixed cost. Thank you.